Oh, it's gonna be that kind of a day. Gonna be that kind of a week. Here it comes. It's that power of the force stuff, guys. It's coming at you. It's starting tonight. Yeah, okay, that's enough. Yeah, Punk's starting it off with Han Solo. How low? As low as you can go, but Punk's got him first. Let's see what we got. How we kick off this Power of the Force here on Wednesday, May 1st. We're here. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. I'm actually about further behind than I thought I would be on my sets, but I've got props, and more props going. You know, I've got my 3PO review set up. I know where it's gonna go. I've got some software downloaded. I'm gonna try some stuff, and should have that within the next couple of days done. I'm just finishing getting the final draft of the set done, and just cut, paste, go. Pretty much how I'm going to go with this one. You know, I don't have a lot of Star Wars figures. I have a few from when my child said, that's shiny. And I said, Star Wars, you're getting Star Wars. And then he didn't like it and fell in love with Dora the Explorer and Bob the Builder. And I had all these Star Wars figures are kicking around in old toy boxes. I had to root around. And I have no idea if any of them were Power of the Force, but I couldn't take the chance, not for this great contest, not contest, sorry, collaborative event. There's no prize. The prize is you get 31 days of amazing reviews from some of your favorite YouTube toy creators or content creators, or even guys you've never heard of, like Crusty Old Crow. And you get that, and you get all their different angles and ways of doing things. You get a easy to do perspective from Star Wars, a place we all know, right? This was a brilliant idea from Allison Troy, who I've learned through watching Allison on her Retro Toy Princess channel, especially when she's coloring with friends of ours. She's a very insightful person, and she's got a lot of gears turning in that head of hers, and you know, she's got a filter that her ex's mother like broke some holes through. You know what I mean? Like that woman ripped that person's filter apart, and I respect it because I know it. So she come up with this idea of Power of the Force, and I think that's great. So of course I've been hard at mine. You know, feeling like I gotta rush a little bit, but denying that feeling. That's that ADHD the crow has, and that military standard. What are you doing? But I, you know, for the figures I didn't have, I had to hold auditions. So you know, like we'll see if any of these guys make it. But so far, the acting caliber is primo. Anyways, what are we doing today besides listening to techno Star Wars? Well, guys, it's time I showed you some of our subscriber content that's been coming my way. I had some unfortunate business going on with files, and I had file sharing going on with my son, and files got lost. But I managed to find a lot of them in some of the places I stashed them. So I'm going to show you little slides that I had prepped for a little while, and some that I finished off this morning. Just of some of the guys you are, like in amongst the comments, in amongst the chat rooms, guys that we hang out with and talk to. I'm talking about guys like Son of Crayon Slayer, Crimson Cobra Commander, others, right? So we'll put on there. And then I'm going to walk you through my top 10 today. I have a top 10 for you, and it's not my normal top 10. Well, of course, it's a normal top 10. There's nothing extraordinary about this, but let's step away from talking about classified for a little while, because there is a distinct difference. No matter how you place it on your shelf, there is a difference between classified and what we know about G.I. Joe when we look at the goddamn retro. Okay, man, look at this. How can you not love a figure that makes your hands feel small again and go, mommy, mommy, mommy? And she says, okay. And you know, all I need is a grocery counter that comes up to my eyebrows and goes, Yeah, I got my retro Duke. I am just trying to locate where I put his extra fists, and then I'm kicking off a review on that probably later on tonight, because I got to get that done so I can concentrate more. I find it very distracting having a few loose ends out there, so I closed out the Stow Surface last night. But retro, I'm going to give you my top 10 figures I would like to see appear in retro next. We know the waves are summed up, but there's some figures I think either they've got to make that retro appearance, they are overdue for one, or perhaps it's there's something else in mind for why I want them in the retro line instead of the classified line right away. So we'll talk about that, and I will talk about Dreadnoks. We got to talk about Dreadnoks at some point. All right. So I got my trusty little slideshow handy. And before I go into the subscriber stuff, guys, if you do like my content and like it when I'm working on little projects like the one I am today, which is going to be a Dreadnok cycle. Which Dreadnok? I don't know yet. Interesting. And I'm working on some of my Star Wars stuff, and I'm working on my one good Wolverine character that I have from the background. All because Grievance, I'm working on his prize as well. But we have some updates to share with people before we get started. I want everybody to know that everybody's okay, but you need to know something about my buddy Loki Wartooth right now, and that's that. Unfortunately, Loki's going through a very difficult time. We've said this before on the channel. There are health concerns in his household, wherein his spouse is battling some cancer, and he's having to be available, and that's really wearing him out. So he's been having a tough time trying to stay on top of things like, first time communication with somebody, things like that. He gets to people when he can get to people as best as he can, as fast as he can. He's eager to be in this community. He loves sending me and Aaron our shipments and watching us promote his stuff. And he loves meeting new customers, knowing that YouTube is a part of that. And he really wants to keep that going. But unfortunately, there's been some more issues that have come up at home that needs his attention. And you might have a slower time getting a hold of him over the next little while until he sorts that out. And guys, we've all been there. Like, some guys hit a bad run of luck. Some guys hit a good run of luck. And then the rest of us, we try to land somewhere in between and call that a good day, right? And unfortunately, Loki hasn't had many good days of late. And so my thoughts are with him, and he's not the only subscriber out here that has had a rough go. I've talked about my buddy Jay before and things like that. So my thoughts are always with you guys, and one thing I'd like to do before I get into the slideshow is just address one particular guy. A Gaslands mechanic. My buddy he's in Windsor, and he's constantly driving up north to St. Catharines and all these other places, and he's another guy that I like him. He's life on life's terms, and he don't complain much, but he sure isn't getting a good go of it the last few months. Just bad run of luck again. So, but he is a part of the subscriber thing, but unfortunately, it's just not for photos. It's for intellectual properties. But there's some drawings I want to do for him, and perhaps even just on the side, just do some stuff. Based on some of the stuff he sent me. He sent me some really insightful character development. And you guys know, watching the show, I love character development. That's how you get to know a project, is what's its personality. And as we go, I'm going to show you some guys that have given me stuff that they're showing on their shelves, ideas and things like that. And one such guy is Son of Crayon Slayer, who not only shows me his stuff, but bounces ideas off me. And I'm going to answer a question because I think I've been putting it off, forgetting about it for a bit. About the Snow Serpent capes and hoods that he's been asking about. He says, "Hi, Crow, I was looking for some ideas for Cobra Snow Squad characters. I just came across Snow Serpent capes and hoods for bashing parts, right? So you got a good deal on those, and that's what we were looking at, I guess. That which comes, of course, with the Snow Serpent set, which I reviewed the other day. And I actually have an answer on what I'm doing about it. The other day, though, somebody asked me if in the chat if I got the pictures of their frostbite. I have gotten a few pictures of a few Arctic characters, and I sometimes can't associate the name with what I'm picturing, so I'm not sure I did after all. I think I assured you I got them, but then I realized I was looking at someone else's photo, and I wasn't sure if it was yours. So just hit me in the comments if you didn't see those frostbite photos in here, and I might ask you to resubmit so I can do them in another one of these videos when I get my shit together. Oh my god, what a week. Okay, so we got that, and so Crusty Crayon Slayer, I said I would answer that in the form of a demonstration. So snow serpents, yeah, the snow serpents really come into the line. We've seen what they've got in the retro line. We've seen how they appear in the classified line on that deluxe set, and those are price hits for sure. You don't want to troop build something that's super expensive if you can avoid it. What I found was if you go to your trusty Dollarama, dollar store, is it Dollarama or dollar store? The one with the green sign. There you go. And you go walking down the kids' aisles. Every now and then they'll have a series of 6-inch figures. Okay. This is the Sneak Eyes 6-inch series. It's got this spring load torso, and I'm like, okay, well, doesn't matter. I can straighten him out, but he's got enough articulation for background scenery and possibly just a little bit of background troop building if you feature your key characters in the front and, you know, your conversions of these guys in the back. It could work out. So there's 3 types I've been able to find. Sorry, 4 types I've been able to find out here. There's the Baroness, there's Storm Shadow, and there's 2 different Snake Eyes. This is one, there's another in gray. They do come with a little weapons assortment of martial arts based weaponry, one including a 3/4 staff, paracama. One's got a bow, one's got the quiver, you know, like there's value there for $4 or $5. I've gotten enough value out of it already just in how it's coming together for certain projects. Now, I'm not sticking with this color pattern as far as the camouflage, but what I did was Loki Wartooth being the guy we're talking about because he's amazing. He also sent me some Snow Serpent kit. Now, the snowshoes I liked, but I don't really like snowshoes per se, and they didn't really fit with the idea, so I'm giving those to Aaron. They're going in the box, and Aaron, if you're watching my video, those snowshoes you like, they're a gift from Loki. They just had to bounce through my area first, buddy. But he did send other good stuff, right, for his Snow Serpents, and a series of good troop build heads. So I am going to try doing the same thing. I was looking at the Arctic Troopers that they did in the post 90s, like not after 94 done, and they were done with that line and they went to others. Somewhere late 90s, early 2000s, they did another run of Arctic Vipers, Arctic Ninjas, Arctic everything. And so some of these concepts I see pulled from there. So this is what it's like when it's all primed up, and then I grade it, and then I did a white over it, and I'm not keeping the purple and blue. I'm gonna break that up into a different kind of digipad, but they'll do that, combine that with some Loki parts. So maybe you want to give these a try if you're not wanting to necessarily rip apart a classified figure. They still have that spring in there, I think, or maybe I got rid of it. I don't know, one way or the other. I don't think all of them have the spring. I think it was just that one. It was its action figure, like action feature of the figure, pardon me. But yeah, these are them. Yeah, really, all I've been able to take off is the head and the legs, and then a 3D print head over that. Just once I get that ball gone, we'll sit fine with it. Like you can see the proportions fine for this figure. So we'll do that, right? Sink that into a bit there. There you go. There. So that's the answer to your question, buddy. That's what I'm trying right now. You know, another thing I've got from Loki Wartooth is my Stalker kayak that I saw in my slides, and in the slides here, somebody else, you know, they did the exact same thing, but they did it just slightly different than what I wanted to do mine. So that's great. But I'll also be, you know me, more dollar store finds, Barbie kayaks, right? So those are, I've dedicated these 2 to my Snow Serpents and 1 to my Joes, which is for my V2 Stalker. So let's have a look at what's been inspiring me lately. Well, some of you guys have gone and pulled images out to help me out, like Bobby Wold and Crusty Crayon Slayer. You're constantly sending me pictures of things that you think I might need, or that I've said, hey, send me pictures because I need this, including little 3D print crows, which I do need. I do need some sort of crows, and I didn't put it in here, but even Crimson Cobra Commander here he sent me a picture of a crow from a toy that he knows of, and I forgot to ask him what toy is that from, so I can seek that out. But by the way, Crimson Cobra Commander, May 1st, happy birthday, buddy. I hope you have a great day. All right, so these following images are from our buddy Roman Skullfrog, the one I keep calling Jumper, right? And he was celebrating his gridiron stuff, and of course his vamp, like so many do. And you know me, I didn't get one, but I did a review on my buddies. I like this. I like the kit. I love the nostalgia about the vamp. I mean, if you were the original collector, that was your first real vehicle for your GI Joes, and your clutch nostalgia is probably strong as well, like me. But he would send me a lot of photos, and I love seeing them, man. I am not the jealous type. I'm the celebrate type. There he is celebrating Retro Scarlet. Maybe that's in for me tomorrow. I don't know. Fig Thursday coming up, guys. I hope so. But he's got those Valaverse, right? And I'm talking to a guy. I want to do that too. But look at that background, that Hunter's background. I always know when he's got that. And I love this guy, man. Like, oh yeah, just great stuff coming out of Roman. There's some more shots. And Scarlett does look really kind of at home with that group. I mean, she stands out almost definitely as the leader, eh? Like the lieutenant, the captain, kind of, Agent Scarlett's, woodland commandos there. That's awesome. And he's got some desert commandos on standby. He does kit bashes and he explores other lines. He really liked those 60th anniversary as well, eh? So just some great photography coming out of Skullfrog. And then these are some of the older ones. I think this is the Halo Warthog or something like that he did up. And it's Stalker with his helmet. But what's going on here? Does Bobby Vala know about this, right? Like, I understand, Valaverse and Joe can exist on the same shelf. But to kind of hook up on the side, not a good scene, but he's got those... I love this. He's got those mounted saws on the back, so riders have something more powerful to defend themselves. Like if he were to pick up, quick kick right now, quick kick wouldn't be relying on nunchucks doing a $150 through the woods. But just some overall great photography. I have a lot of his, clearly, right? Whoops. Whoa. Slow down. Loving that. That's the Dreadnok feel we need, right? That's what made me think, oh yeah, I gotta talk about Dreadnoks. Because I think I know who that middle guy might be. I think I know who the guy on the right might be, unless he made them up. I think I finally figured out who he's paying some tributes to. Unless these are his own brain canon, which, if they are, they're great. But if they're tributes, they're also great. Tributes to lesser known characters. So when he got the Techno Viper, there it is on the Fortnite boat, right? Everybody's got a Fortnite boat. I have never seen one on the wild. It's crazy. I know you can order them from Amazon and everything like that. But I was always just hoping to find one in the wild. I love toy hunting on the shelves and thrift stores, finding toys that need that second bit of love. You know what I mean? Okay, what else do we got? Okay, Lou, I know we know who you are. When emails come, they use your proper email name, and it doesn't always attach to your YouTube name, channel, whatever. So I actually don't really know who Lou is, but Lou, your bomb strike was ballin', man. I loved that bomb strike, and the fact that you found such a great drone to go with it was amazing. That's exactly the kind of feel I wanted my bomb strike to have access to that kind of drone and hardware. My vision wasn't very different from exactly what yours was. It seems like not very different at all. I did mine a little differently, but with the same kind of vibe and feel of that professional bomb strike as we saw her. And then you were nice enough to show me where you got that drone, and I really did appreciate that. I have seen that toy line on the shelf, so I will keep my eye open for that as I try and find maybe a solution for the drone. But also, my other clue to Lou is he in the mech contest? Aaron, if you're watching, who's Lou? Lou, if you're watching, who are you? Oh, Louie Lou, who are you? I think I've got to move on now. Yeah, lots of pictures of Bomb Strike. I was kind of smitten with that. And then Son of Crayon Slayer sending us some of his stuff, right? So we've got is it iceberg, I believe there. Oh my god, my camera just flashed to my own eye. That's awesome. But there's that kayak and the jetpack. I love that he is ready for everything, right? He's ready for the long haul, he's ready for tanks, he's ready for purse, he's ready for lots of purse, he's ready to scrim up his cam up his thing, he's ready to go on the snow, he's ready to go in the sky, he's ready to go in the water. I love, and it all balanced out actually really well with that deluxe kit feel, right? So now I feel like for $75 Canadian or 59.99 US, I feel like I would get my money's worth out of a deluxe kit when it comes like this. Good job on that one, man. Love it. Yeah, there you go. You can see. And I've got the same cam netting for the exact same reason. Guys, you get about 1,000 types of bags in a year at your grocery store for a variety of things. Keep your eyes on them every now and then. Picture them in a different color, and they make great cams, right? I'm actually going to be trying to do a ghillie suit this week too. And then not sure which character this is, if it was a rendition of, I think he sent it in the email and I forgot to write it down. But there's this doc, guys. He sent me this a while ago and I was like, oh, bro's got game, right? That's a good looking doc. I'm still, he's still going to buy the new doc, I know, but this is a great doc. Like that, he got the colors right. There's a vibe to him, right? And then this one is one that I would love to see, is like, if there is a cross between the Dreadnoks and the Arctic stuff, Dead Frost would sit there well, right? Like that's awesome. I feel like that was an Emma Frost figure among other things, and yeah, sent me a few pics. And it's not often you see people doing figure conversions in all blue. God, who was this again? Son of Crayon Slayer again, sending me pics of his weapons to get me nostalgic about going back to my Afghanistan days and the way my guns were, like the way our weapons were and things like that. And I don't really I don't do guns like as my hobby anymore at all. It was never really my hobby. It's my son's interest for sure. I just got too many years of experience of shooting and cleaning and worrying about and carting around and all the nuances of a gun. A gun's nice when you get to pick it up when you want and fire it when you want and put it down when you want, and it's always there if you need it, right? But when you spend enough time just carrying it around all the time everywhere you go, and in a few theaters, and and on exercise and courses, of course, you start seeing the gun is just another tool in the box. It's like being fascinated with your hammer. I am not fascinated with my hammer. Team America World Police gave me a new perspective on the hammer, but I'm not fascinated with it. Nor am I fascinated by my screwdriver, right? So that's how I see guns. But the camouflage and painting guns for classified, always love new ideas. Speaking of new ideas, a guy that's always hearing when I've got an idea and I'm looking for something, Bobby Wold. Bobby Wold's always actively showing me what he's seeing and going, do you see it, Crow? Do you see what I see, Crow? And I'm like, yeah, man, I see it. Are you ooh, right? It's not helping. You're enabling me. I am pack ratting all these future projects. Miss me this time, bitch flash. Ha ha ha. Not my eye this time. No, I'm pack ratting all these projects to work for the channel to just, keep content moving. If I don't have a new figure, I gotta keep the conversions going and things like that, or have something to talk about. And Bobby Wold always just goes, and then when you're done those, you can start on these, right? But he is a huge help. He knew exactly what I was looking for. That was the picture the helicopter I was picturing in my head when Aaron challenged me to do the Fang. I think that's pretty much the one I was seeing on the thrift store that I almost bought one day and didn't. And now, of course, I need it, right? So that was cool. All of this, yeah, Bobby's always got some great ideas. And great ideas come to all of you, and I'm sorry I can't show everything that you guys shared. We're coming up on 25 minutes and I still have to get the list, But we got a few more to bash through. We got Cobra Crimson Commander. Back before he started his channel, me and this guy were talking under his old ego, old names, the names that weren't working for Triple C, right? But birthday boy here, he's got 3 vamps. You know, he showed me that when I was asking about vamps and opinions. His opinion was thrice strong, you know, but he was dabbling in figure conversions as well, using a bit of mix of Star Wars and G.I. Joe Classified. This was when I was just getting started at showing mine, and I think I was just starting Bull, right? But there's Tiger Force Flint. Man, I gotta get a Tiger Force Flint at some point. I never thought I'd say that out loud, but I just, yeah, I guess I need closure. But man, that figure, there's so many ways you could have done Flint, and Tiger Force is just not the one I would have chosen. But, you know, maybe a small crow voice showed up in Vader's head too, because he seemed to agree. Sorry, Crimson Cobra Commander, because he started swapping bits with Flint, and Flint started looking actually a lot cooler. You know what I mean? But also I include him because he is an advocate of picking up those 3D prints that people advertise in places like Etsy or eBay or whatever, and giving those a shot. And when he likes them, he likes them. And when he wants to tell you about them, he does a video about them. How do I know? Because I watched some of them, and this was awesome, and I want one of these. And now that there's some coming out to this new market, I'm excited to see where it all goes. But Crimson Cobra Commander got me started on that. And then if you guys like some of that post-nostalgic stuff there, like the post 85, 86 line stuff, there's some haulers and whatnot, right? So Cobra Crimson Commander. All right, let's talk about retro. Oh my goodness. And again, you know, do it twice and at least I'll remember to do it once. Like, share, subscribe. You know, I want to get to that 500 mark. I am working hard on that 350 prize, but man, I want to do the 500 prize and give away this subscriber wall and some other cool stuff, and just get that channel rolling. I wanna tell you about tonight too, right? This is the stuff I'm doing. I'm actually doing what I want to do. I just want to keep doing it better. But I am going to be not tonight, but tomorrow, Thursday, to the May the 2nd at about 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna hop on and do a dry run Crow's Nest live with you know, whatever I'm calling that, but it's a Crow's Nest where I invited guys to say, hey man, you want to get your pre-jitters done with the lives? Just come shoot the shit with me for a half hour to an hour. We can talk about whatever you want. I'll draw names out of a hat. We'll do a little show and tell. Somebody took me up on it, and we're going to be sitting down with Legend Series tomorrow. I believe he's out of New York. And that's going to be tomorrow. And I was thinking about the night on it, and I didn't want to do it tonight because it's the premiere for May Power of the Force. But then we set it all up, and as I set it up today, I realized that doing it tomorrow, it's still, you know, there's guys doing their shows, and I just wanted to say this is not like a like the interviews you see where it's going to be browbeating or promoting a product. There's no new push for anything unless Legend Series has something new to push, but he's a toy photographer. He would probably just do it on his site. But no, we're just going to talk about the things we like, and as far as learning all about him and all that, that's another guy's show, and I'm saving that for that, right? Like, we're just hanging out. I liken it to hanging out like by a campfire, you know, when the evening's young and you start at the fire and some buddies are dropping by and they start filtering in ones and twos, you sit with that 6-pack and you just have that nice pleasant conversation before too many people show up and get rowdy. It's like that, right? So yeah, just plugging that really quick. But who knows, maybe I'll get his thoughts on retro line. Do they photo better than classified? I imagine that's subjective. Anyways, retro line, we know they're picking up momentum because Hasbro's made a commitment to make them more available, and there's some that guys are still looking for in that back catalog, and some that we can't wait to get in the future catalogs, right? Like, we know Major Blood is going to be in that future catalog. We just got pushed back a wave. But I have a list of my top 10. So the honorary mentions in this, they're all fall under one. And it's close out the OG 13 by doing a retro version of either and or Zap. We're not worried about Major Blood. That's a short fuse. Even the original General Hawk and especially Steeler. That's my honorary mention. I feel like vehicle drivers for vehicles that are very unlikely to get dealt with anytime soon, as in like within the healthy lifespan of the line, considering how vehicles are for this line. Steeler, if he's not going to get that Mobat and he's not going to be a HasLab, he still deserves a place on the shelf. Would they invest in it in classified? I don't know, but if he's OG 13 and OG 13 original only, I mean, I think he deserves the privilege and the right, as do Zap, Short Fuse, and the original Hawk. I won't exclude Flash and Grand Slam, but we know they're in development for classified, looking like their original selves. They deserve a place in that line, and I think they're an honorary mention. I wanna get into. And then of course the Major Blood did creep in there. He was part of the show. So top 10 who I think needs to be in this line. Coming in at number 10, coming into the retro line that I would like to see is the original Crazy Legs variant. Okay. Reason being clearly with HasLab, and you'll hear that come up a few times in this one. HasLab having done the Dragonfly project, where the tier unlocks were Crazy Leg and Ripcord, but both were Night Force variants. And that's fine. Maybe that's one less 2-pack that they'll do a weak ass leak about one day down the road, sitting on a Target shelf, and people will be screaming clearance only. But yeah. It does create a bit of elitism in the people that were already, working hard to try and complete their Night Force line. Now have to have a HasLab for it. But people that wanted paratroopers in their thing deserve a shot at it. And I think the retro version of Crazy Legs and his, gray and red jump attire, I think that should come to the line. In the retro form. Remember, this is all retro, right? I don't want variants of this. I want retro. Coming in at number 9, very controversial when he came into the classified. You either loved it, hate it, or weren't getting it and couldn't have an opinion on it. And now it's coming again in a Tiger Force repaint. But I want a retro tripwire, something simple, something easy. I don't need vest options. I don't need McLeod, any of that. Just if I want my tripwire, I want them like this. Why? Because I can see some troop building potential in the figure as well. Maybe, who knows? But I had a definite soft spot for tripwire. I do have my pre-order in for the Tiger Force, but I do plan on getting the Hasbro original one. Just because I remember being, I had smashed my teeth. I was having a bad day. All my front teeth were smashed in playing baseball, and it was a bad hit, right? I was in a lot of pain and everything. And I remember my mom brought me tripwire. And, he wasn't the Joe I wanted off that shelf that I was aware of that day. I didn't go to the store with her, but I knew what was in that line. But it was the Joe I needed that day, man. Just kind of pulling those little landmines out of his backpack and putting them out there and picturing, because I was laid up in bed. If I could just go get some of my Cobra vehicles, they'd roll over that, they'd blow up. That was cool, right? I was doped up. But it was fascinating that these little mines was all it was going to take to destroy like a HISS tank or whatever vehicle rolled across it, right? And as a military guy, I got a lot of respect for engineers, and I have learned to pull mines, and they are the real deal, boys. If you've ever taken any part of a mine clearance operation, you have more respect for tripwire than probably the common collector. All right, so at number 8, guys, and I do have them for my classified, but I see a need for them in the retro line, is Snow Job. Snow Job is iconic in every way. He is probably your flagship Arctic character and above all others. I don't care if you're a big fan of Frostbite. Stretcher, which I loved that what he had Stretcher on his list the other day. Iceberg, Blizzard, whoever, Snow Serpent. When I say G.I. Joe, winter, you go Snow Job, G.I. Joe, winter, Snow Job, right? It is. So putting in a simpler retro kit for him with half those options and just, pair of skis, bare backpack, rifle, and a head. It's all you need for Snow Job. It's my opinion. Crow stamp. Pow. Okay. Where are we? We're at number 7. I know somebody's gonna like this one. This one doesn't make a lot of sense if you're really grilling me, because you know I'm about that original group. But hear me out. Cross country. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm mouthing words. Cross country to me was a mystery as a character through my childhood. I never had the Havoc, so I never really saw the figure. Nobody I knew had the Havoc. But I know in the cartoon he kind of had a little bit of a following, and I know he's representing the South, like when he talks. So maybe this is my shout out to my compadres down in the South, because it seems there's a lot of you. Most of the guys I'm talking about on my channel are, they're the South. They're rising again, but they're the South, right? Actually, Legends, you're from New York, but you're in the North. But most of these guys, Aaron, Darren, are down South. Even Loki, they're down South, right? So, but cross country, I think the other reason I think of it is, guys, it goes back to my theory about the vehicles. If you're not going to hit these vehicles in any kind of order than what you could do reprints and repaints, and we know the Havoc isn't on that list for a while. Ever. Period. So how do we get those figures in the line if they're drivers and gunners for these vehicles? Maybe retros, you're sliding. Maybe instead of doing waves of 3, you bump up waves of 4, and that 4th vehicle is a vehicle driver that you have no intention of making the vehicle for within the next 10 years or whatever. Okay? That would be where I'd start. All right, that brings us to number 6, the Televiper. Yep, I know what you're saying, but we've already got Televiper in the classified. It was very accurate, retro, wouldn't do anything more to it. I think it would. I think it would simplify what you're getting with the Televiper by dropping the flight pod for sure. But yeah, the Python Patrol variant too. But I think there's options to do a Televiper, and the Televiper are a troop build, and I think retro likes doing troop builds. One of the ones I would have liked to have seen maybe is have that head and have the alternative non-head, like non-human head, whatchamacallit, the screen face that comes with the flight pod. Maybe have that as an option that can be swept down over that hood or something, or attached, just to give that troop building, because retro should only be one type of figure, and unfortunately, if you bring a troop build in there and you can't cover those flesh tones, then you get the question of, well, why don't they have the ethnic options here like they do with other figures, right? So in order to save money, maybe they just close off that visor space if you don't like the flesh tone they picked, right? Which would be the retro version. There we go. Honor, I don't have the photo of it. And why didn't I have the photo of it? I know I saw it, so let's go back to it. There's one that we need to address, and why I'm calling it out so fast is because they're on their way. And I am, of course, talking about dragging it out to the Iron Grenadiers. These guys, all right? Yeah, we know they're on their way. Classified's going to do them, and people are going to troop build them. But what ended up happening with the Eel and with the Snow Serpent was these were troop builders that went quick due to demand and due to people that were able to buy massive numbers of them fast through pre-orders and everything like that, and totally blotched the numbers. I have not seen anything out of Hasbro in the last 2 waves that tells me the chaos has gone. You know, one wave is just as chaotic as the next, and now they're coming in faster. So what I'm picturing with the Iron Grenadiers release is that, yeah, you'll get your troop build figure, and yeah, it'll sell like hotcakes, and the fact it'll be like, well, you'll project it like you projected the Techno Viper, high demand, right? So I think the retro line needs to pump them out just as fast and make that availability. If you want to talk about the best time to buy something, it's when it's new and fresh in people's heads. And when availability becomes a question and you suddenly have your own competition right in your own hands. What's that? You run out of classified? Well, here's the retros. Oh, look, the classified are back. Good, the retros are out. Oh, no, they're both out at the same time. Ah! Right? Why can't they do that? Planning prep, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Lenny would like to sit down, have a cup of coffee with me and say, turn your camera off, let's talk. I don't know. All right, next on that list, guys, back to my list indeed. I am going to clearly have them out of order. Muskrat is one that I do think needs to come to retro before too long, and here's why, guys. While we have seen leaks and rumors that retro is coming to classified, I am of 75% faith that he'll go right to Night Force. I think he will be a Night Force release first, because I think they're trying to carve that out with more characters as they go. Hence the Shockwave motorcycle. We know that a 2-pack is coming for Night Force at some point, because they've done a 2-pack for Tiger Force. They've done a 2-pack for Mad Marauders. Math is math all day long. So what would be in that 2-pack? Of course, we want a new Falcon reprint, right? But not necessarily a new reprint, but a resculpt. At least for the, his birth control device right here, which is so effective. It's got to go. But who would they throw it in with? If you're going to throw a reprint in and you want it to sell, you got to put it in with a new character and just piss everyone off. And I think Muskrat's the guy. Planned on the pipe on that one. And if it's not Falcon, a third outback, I don't know. Anyways, Muskrat's my choice. I want to see the original Muskrat come right to retro, get it on the shelf. It's a simple character. It could come with everything it come with, right? Boogie board, hat, and shotgun, machete. That is all out. Next up on my list, that's not what I had written down, is it? No, yes it is. All right, hear me out. Scoop, scoop-a-loop, scoop-a-loop-a-doop-a-doop. Why? Because combat photographers see all the action. The movie Civil War, which I just thought was an odd thing going on there. It wasn't great, wasn't horrible, but certainly wasn't a great narrative going on and what was going on. But they talk about, it's a focus on combat photographers. I've worked with combat photographers at our side. They're attachments to us. They're there to get the story, get the shots, let people back home see what's going on. Does G.I. Joe need a combat photographer? Well, in this era of accountability, yeah, you got body cams on cops and everybody like this, but the review process for a mission is always better when you've got the footage of it all going on. So I see a role for a scoop. An updated scoop could be anything. He could be the new drone, like the new drone operator scoop. He's watching, but maybe he's got camera drones or something. I don't know. But a retro scoop would go over well with me. I like my Lady J with her cam, but that's only got so much of that VHS tape, right? He's got the ever reliable Betamax tape, and those things were better. Oh my God, nobody knows what the hell you're talking about, Crow. This is back before you could download a movie or stream one. Okay, after scoop, yep, I gotta say 'em. We need it. It's due. You're doing figures that we want, that couldn't become available to us like this, and you got to do a mind bender, boys. I know you were thinking Crystal Ball, right? And Crystal Ball, I think he's coming. I just don't care. This is one I want to go to the retro line. Give me an original Dr. Mindbender. Mindbender? Mind Pepper. Dr. Mind Pepper and his spicy technology. No, Dr. Mindbender and his Cobra technology and experiments and all the hideous things he does needs to be on every Cobra collector's shelf, right? Yet it's an SDCC exclusive or something like that. Very hard to get. Pre-orders went in, they were gone. Reorders went in, they're gone. Any sign of new reorders? Gone. So what do you do? Right? So Mindbender is number 2 on my list, guys. But the number 1 on my list goes back to my theory again. You go see Crazy Legs, you go see the drivers, you go see everybody else, reference Wild Bill. Wild Bill needs to be made available on the retro card line within the next couple of waves, because again, we're getting into the HasLabs. We're getting into paying a few $100 to many $100, depending on where you are in that market, to see the Dragonfly, and that's the only way you can see a Wild Bill. And unfortunately for us fans, they didn't go with a variant Wild Bill or a later iteration. They went as close to the original as they could comfortably get. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, is there a hope here? And I'm saying, yes, there is. For the retro line, there's a hope for Wild Bill. Absolutely. 100% yes. Why? Well, because they gave a darker brown, darker green kind of a feel to the sculpt here. And here it's more of a richer ochre or brighter, right? So you do have an option to do a repaint on that classified figure and throw in, you know, the exact same amount of kit, right? You could do Wild Bill for everybody and make a lot of people happy. Would they do a Wild Bill for everybody that didn't buy into the HasLab Dragonfly project? I don't know. It depends on if they make good on the Cobra Commander that isn't a Mickey Mouse, or what other, you know, things that they've made exclusive that is supposed to be open to the Joe fans, right? I believe that eventually everything that is a convention exclusive and all that other stuff should be reprinted into a smaller, more available package for the community to dive in and buy their copy of. It's not like they're gonna hang it up on the shelf and say, this was the first time it ever came out. No, they know it's a you know, a second printing, a second issuing, but it's completing these collections not by Hasbro's numbers, but by your childhood memories and your nostalgia that gets important. All right, last thing I'm going to end on, guys, is Dreadnoks. Okay, here's some food for thought while I go back to doing my Dreadnok bike today and some Star Wars stuff and Wolverine stuff. I need a rider for it. Now I could put one of my Dreadnoks on there, but I'm thinking you're going to see a rider I'm thinking of, and that's a future project I might come across. Maybe. Dreadnoks. You know they're showing up in Cobra Commander series, right? Yeah, they're kind of kicking ass over there. But who do we know are Dreadnoks? Well, you got Zartan, Zarena, Xander, Xander again, yeah. Zoolander, and then Zanzibar. And that's just the Zeds. Let's go back. Who else do we have? We've got Torch just hit that line. We're waiting on him to come in on the fire effects for your Joes. That's awesome. Nagahide also coming in there. A lot of mixed opinions. I know down south don't want him. Don't like him. I think don't like him is the intent of the character when you make a poacher, but I think down south has an exception to that rule. Down south, no one will make you buy this character. I will stand with firm and make sure you never see it. Road Pig. Everybody knows that's got to be coming on the way, right? And then we got our friend Buzzer. Oh, there he is in Cobra Commander series. What the? Ripper. Ripper's my favorite so far. I think that's the most solid Dreadnok you got in the collection, right? And there's Ripper confronting Cobra Commander. But I'm not going to show you all the things that go on in that comic series, because let's talk about some that we've heard rumors of, like Heart Wrencher. Yep, heard rumors of her coming to the line down the line, you know, because she comes with a vamp repaint, don't you know? Yep. And then, of course, Thrasher, right? Who would come with this thing? The whatchamacallit? Thunder Machine. Yeah. And Monkey Wrench, who we haven't seen, but man, is he ever close looking to Torch, eh? So, is that all of them? Nope. One we haven't seen is Storm Rider. Now, these are later in the line and all this, and I only found out, I am today years old finding out about some of these guys. Storm Rider, I had to look up, but apparently he is a member of the Dreadnoks, and he even had a file card in the, Pursuit of Cobra or Venom versus Valor lines. But there he goes, and there was a figure where people did renditions. Yeah, I could see myself working that. Maybe that would look good with my bike. Maybe. I don't know. Who else? Crusher. Okay, we're going to do a hard pass on Crusher because I don't know if this is what Nagahide was or became later, or if this is just a guy that, you know, I'm also like Nagahide because I also really like Kraven the Hunter and Spider-Man characters. And then there was that guy, which was it Crusher? No. I had it written down here. Demolisher, Burnout, pardon me. So not Crusher, Demolisher. Yeah, so anyways, there's three of them. This was Crusher, and then there's Demolisher and Burnout. Now, this is Burnout. I couldn't find Demolisher. I forgot to find him, or was that back here? No, yeah, I don't have Demolisher on here. But anyways, there are more Dreadnoks I was never aware of. So that gives me some room. That's it for today, guys. You got my top 10 of the retros. You got my list of the Dreadnoks that maybe we should expect to see. I'm going to hit back to doing this thing, my bike. Oh, good. It still works. Right? Rolling. But I want to get this one Wolverine I got done up and try and find him some friends this week because yeah, it's a bigger bite of a pie that I didn't realize was all full of hardship glass. But I've got some figures to show you a little bit later. I still have to do my Duke review for the retro cards, that thing I was just talking about. But I have some figures to reveal as far as conversions go. The rock and roll swindle is almost over. Kit is drying, and oh, is that Duke? But that's not the right Duke, but that's still Duke. And Dusty, and just some little tweaks I gave Dusty, Beachhead, and the nice thing I realized about when Hasbro stole my wreckage idea, they came onto my channel, saw I did a wreckage 2-pack with Big Brother, and they said, you know what, you're nobody, Crow. And they went and did a better one, and I forgive them, because I can't prove it. No, I'm not really like that. No, now that there's a wreckage out there, photographer for us, my wreckage, I'm glad I didn't put a lot of yellow on that. I did it my way because I'm going to shift that over. I'm still going to have a wreckage on there, but I think I know where I want him on my shelf, which means he's got to get a bit of converting done on top of that converting. But there's room for that. So, no harm, no foul. Lenny, I forgive you. All right, guys. Like, share, subscribe if you love Star Wars. And, see how it's nothing to do with my video. And I will talk to you soon.